Hi guys, I'm Cassandra Rubino and I'm going to show you the 5 meals that I eat as a vegan bodybuilder.
I'm Alex Teixeira. I'm here to share with you what I eat in a day as a vegan bodybuilder.
I'm going to show you one of my easiest, quickest bodybuilding meals that I can possibly make for you, and it is my tofu scramble. So I like to start off with just a large skillet. I'm going to spray the pan with some cooking spray, and then I'm going to add onions and a cup of shredded Brussels sprouts. I really love just to get at least 2 cups of veggies with every meal, and once that is nice and sauteed, I'm going to go ahead and add my tofu. So about 6 to 8 ounces of tofu, and once that's all mashed up, I like to add my seasoning. Some salt, some pepper, some onion powder, garlic powder, and then saute that up. And then I love to add nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is probably one of my favorite spices to use. I saute that up in there, and then I add another tablespoon just to give me some more cheesy flavor. We're gonna head over and start to plate it. So I pretty much eat on a macronutrient diet. So I'm going to have some toast with a little bit of butter for my fat, and then I'm going to top it off with some banana. And that is my tofu scramble. I love to eat this in the morning. It just keeps me full for at least 3 to 4 hours.
So for breakfast, I had avocado toast and a protein smoothie. I actually have the same thing post-workout as well. I tend to eat my fruit in the morning and kind of taper off for the rest of the day. Always some chia seeds. Chia seeds are great. I put a vegan protein powder, some oats. So next we're gonna bake the bread for the avocado toast. I like to use Ezekiel bread or anything whole wheat. I think that whole wheat has so many benefits to it. Just smash that up with a fork. Add some raw pumpkin seeds as well, and there you go. Nice and nutritious breakfast.
For my next meal, it's almost like a little taste of a burrito bowl. So I'm gonna saute some veggies. So I'm going to spray the pan with my cooking spray, and then I'm gonna add some peppers and onions to this skillet. I'm gonna make sure that they get nice and cooked, and almost so you can put a fork through it. I'm gonna start off with some salt and pepper, smoked paprika, garlic powder. I'm gonna add some turmeric, some salt in there, and I'm going to saute that. Beautiful. I'm excited. All right, so now I have prepared some TPV. So this is gonna provide me about 20 grams of protein. I'm gonna add some rice and beans, and that's gonna give me about 25 grams of carbohydrates. Now I'll start to add my sauteed veggies to the bowl and give me my own homemade burrito bowl. I'm gonna add a little bit of diced tomatoes. All right, here we go. Let's try it. Yes, delicious as I knew it was gonna be.
So next I did potatoes, beans, basil, and onions. So I like to saute up the onions. I'm gonna add the potatoes next. Of course, I would like to put salt, pepper, different types of seasonings, and then the white beans. And then of course I put the LikeMeat right alongside with it. Pairs really well. It has been a little bit harder to gain muscle, maintain muscle. It's the challenge that actually interests me. And there are a lot of skeptics. Everybody's gonna think that you're gonna shrink and you can never become a bodybuilder. It's simply not true. You just have to have the right numbers, hit your macros, and you will grow.
For my protein shake, it's a quick boost of protein that will go right to my muscles right after I work out. I do drink a little bit of it before I start my workout. That energy is gonna come from my liquid carbs, which is some coconut water. So I add about a serving of coconut water, which is about 240 milligrams. So it's gonna give me 11 to 12 grams of carbs. And then I have been using this protein powder for a little bit now. It's low in carbs, high in protein, and low in fat. I go ahead and just shake it up, and this is my little treat that I have, protein boost right after I finish my workout.
So next I did some brown rice, some roasted veggies, some white beans, and some more LikeMeat. Just roasted up the veggies, put a little salt, throw them in the oven. I put it at 425. It's delicious. It never gets old. I have noticed a lot of differences since I've become fully plant-based. I definitely have a lot more energy. My skin is cleared up. I've built this muscular physique, and I've been able to maintain it for the last 2 years on a plant-based diet. So it's definitely doable, guys.
I start off with making my own homemade seitan for the week. So I start off with 3 cups of Vital wheat gluten. And I add some oregano and Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, garlic powder and onion powder, some nutritional yeast, guys, one of my faves. And I start to mix up those dry ingredients. Then I'm going to add in my wet ingredients. So my wet ingredients consist of vegetable broth, some olive oil, some soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of liquid smoke. And then I'm gonna mix really, really well so there's no dry spots. It's important that you don't have any dry spots. You do wanna knead it a little bit, so if there is any dry spots, you can eliminate that by the kneading. And once it's kneaded, you can just make it into a football formation. And then I usually double tinfoil it. So I'll have one tinfoil wrapping and then I'll flip it and then tinfoil it again. So once that's ready to go, I'm gonna pop that in there for 90 minutes. So an hour and a half, it's gonna cook in the oven. Once it's out of the oven, I'm going to let it completely cool and then put it in the refrigerator for 3 to 5 hours so it can curate, and then I'm ready to eat it. So while that's gonna be cooking, I'm gonna go and start preparing a peanut-based noodles. About 3/4 cup of natural peanut butter, and then I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of water, and then a tablespoon of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and then I'm going to add some ground ginger and some onion powder. And then I go ahead and add some hot sauce. I use Cholula there, and I mix that up really well. Once that's mixed really well, you can set that aside, and we're gonna move on to the pasta dish. And I'm going to add 12 ounces of cooked pasta to this mixing bowl. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of cooked edamame. I'm gonna add some spring mix in there, bell pepper, any color is fine, some green onion, and I'm going to go ahead and add the peanut sauce. So excited for this meal. I'm going to use my tongs and I'm going to evenly distribute all of the peanut sauce into this pasta dish. And with the number that I have on the scale, I'm gonna take those amount of grams and I'm gonna break them up into 7 different meals. So I can get 35 grams of carbs, 25 grams of protein, and then 15 grams of fat. All right guys, so my seitan is ready and I'm going to go ahead and cut it up. I'm gonna show you just how I top it off. And this is what it looks like, guys. It's just a delicious loaf of seitan, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my scale again. And I already have my plated pasta dish on here, my peanut sauce. And all I need to do is add the amount of protein that I need for this meal. Now this is my post-workout meal, so that's another reason why it's one of my favorite meals, because it is something that I'm going to eat within 45 minutes to an hour after I've worked out. You can tell on my face that I'm super excited about this meal, and this one is probably one of my favorites. For this meal, I'm going to be adding tempeh as my main source of protein today. So I'm going to add more of a smoky flavor palette to this tempeh today. I add some soy sauce in there, and for soy sauce, I'm just putting a healthy amount, and then a small amount of liquid smoke. And then I add some black pepper in there, some garlic powder. I'm gonna add some smoked paprika. That gives you that hickory and smoky flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt because I forgot to add that. But once it sits and marinates for about 20-25 minutes, then I will go ahead and saute that. While that's marinating, I'm gonna get my salad ready. So I add some romaine lettuce, some spring mix in there, and I just do a healthy mix with my hands. Now I add some cucumber in there, add some tomatoes in there, and then some onions. Sometimes I add purple onion, sometimes I add white onion. Again, helps me get at least 2 cups of veggies in. All right, so now we're back to the frying pan, and I'm gonna add some soy sauce to the skillet. When the skillet starts to heat up, I start to flip each part of the tempeh over. Every side of the tempeh can absorb that flavor that's in the skillet. So once the tempeh is ready to go, I start to plate the salad, and I do add some plantain croutons just to add a little crunch. And then I'm gonna put about 4 ounces of tempeh on there to get at least 20 to 25 grams of protein. I'm gonna add some balsamic and olive oil. I added some salt and pepper and some thyme in there. because I like to keep it nice and fresh with my ingredients. It's just so good and so easy.